pairs.
Look at this intro. Wow. This is actually good. I've only seen like one of this guy's videos ever.
I think some of you are going to like this episode. You might not like what it has to say, but this has been the product of a good few weeks of research, of back and forth, of investigation, and I think I've put together a very compelling video.
Turning players into payers.
Before we properly crack on, though, I want to preempt some of the arguments that I think are going to come. Mainly, yes, microtransactions, monetization, games as service are popular. They make a lot of money, basically. A ton of money. Inconceivable amounts of money. But it's important to remember that a lot of this money comes from a very small percentage of the audience. The so-called whales who spend massive amounts of money on in-game purchases.
That's like WoW tokens and buying all the store mounts.
Looks like game publishers are building entire empires on sand. It's not the most reliable, not the most stable business model, is it, to go all in on a handful of peeps? And when that bubble bursts, I feel like it's going to be very, very ugly. Speaking of very, very ugly, recently Activision came under heavy fire after the discovery of a patent it filed pertaining to a method in which online matchmaking itself would be weaponized in order to try and force customers into spending extra money on additional content.
What the fuck?
At its most basic, such an idea takes a new player, works out the kind of stuff that player would like, then takes veteran players with said content, matches them up against the new players with the idea that the new players will get their asses kicked, think, oh, I'd do a lot better if I had the stuff that other player had, and then they'll want to buy additional stuff off Activision in order to gain a competitive edge. It's
I just want to make sure that you guys understand what he just said there, right? Dude. So imagine if you have a bunch of you have this one guy that's kitted out. This dude spent $250 on his character. This dude cues into some little Billy fucking 12-year-old, gets thrown in the garbage can. Mom doesn't even care about him. He's playing the game on his fucking phone. Little Billy cues into this neckbeard fuck that spent $250. The neckbeard beats the shit out of little Billy, and little Billy steals his mom's credit card because he wants to beat the neckbeard. So it's basically like South Park, but instead of boars, it's credit cards. This is disgusting. So it intentionally cues people into people that have microtransaction stuff in order to create a need for them to get the microtransaction stuff in order to compete in the system that they created to make them need to compete. From a purely sociopathic perspective, what a great idea.
What? No, don't say that, dude.
It sounds, and do you know how fucking insidious it sounds? Really fucking insidious.
Yes, Marco.
That's how insidious it sounds. While Activision maintains it's never implemented such a scheme in its games, to date, it's still a grasping, pathetic idea from a grasping, pathetic industry that has grown more frantic than ever when it comes to scraping additional cash out of its audience's wallets. That said, a patent is just a patent and is never explicit proof that something's actually happening in the industry. However, just because Activision's slimy little scam may be just written on paper, it doesn't mean that games aren't already using player data in a variety of sinister and worrying ways, so much so that entire businesses are being built purely off the back of such data use. I've been looking at a company after a disgusted anonymous developer contacted me about it, having just got done seeing companies gloating about how much extra money they could exploit from their customers using what I'm about to discuss. If you've never heard of it, allow me to introduce to you scientific revenue. Better yet, grab a large industrial-grade vomit bag and let Scientific Revenue introduce itself with this video package it proudly shares on its site.
Okay.
Mobile games are a massive business, but competition is fierce, and the cost to acquire new players keeps going up. To have any chance of turning players into payers, game developers need to get their in-app purchases right. To boost revenue, you need deep insights into your players and the ability to customize prices for each. What if you could deliver the right price at the right time for the right buyer? We deliver dynamic pricing that increases
We're no longer
conversion,
players, we're
reduces
dollar
churn,
signs.
and boosts the lifetime revenue of your app. Our plugin easily integrates into your game and common game development environments, where it captures hundreds of data points that inform purchase decisions. With predictive analytics and machine learning, our dynamic pricing engine analyzes pricing signals, segments players in real time, and automatically delivers targeted pricing. With better insights at your fingertips, you can keep improving engagement and retention. Now, nothing stands between you and monetization. Turning players into payers.
And they just say it.
Perhaps you were too busy.
They
And
just
they
say
just
it!
fucking say it. It's
They
not
just
even
say
like
it!
They don't talk around it. They don't pretend like, oh, it's okay, we're just trying to make the game better. They just say turn players into payers, and they literally put fucking dollar signs over their head. Wow.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on. If you're watching the stream right now, share this stream with somebody else that's not watching. Everybody needs to fucking be aware of this.
At
Right
least,
goddamn
you know
now.
what? At least, I not just for self-promotion, at least share the fucking video. There's a video that I'm watching right now, okay? Share this fucking video. People need to know about it. This is important.
It's right there. It's so
There's
obvious.
the video. Like, I just... Okay, let's go.
Cringing at the embarrassing faux-friendly corporatism to watch it, but that introductory video
Jeez.
pretty much explains how you, the players, are being observed and studied by a piece of software, learning what it can about your income, when you play, how you play, where you play.
Let me just ask you guys a little question here. Do you think that this did not influence this type of machine learning and these types of analytics did not influence all of the terrible systems that we have in BFA? Like the way that they artificially time gate things and the way that they stop other things from happening too fast or too slow. This is exactly what they're doing in WoW. Just because WoW is doing it with a time-based algorithm instead of a money-based algorithm doesn't mean that they're not doing the exact same thing, manipulating players in the exact same way. And in BFA, it's more than fucking obvious that it doesn't work.
Don't say that, man.
Sorry.
Play, even what type of phone you have, to better know how to hit you with in-app purchases. Essentially, scientific revenue is a stealth predator that mobile games have been integrating into their products, that it may hide in the bushes and wait to pounce when you're at your most susceptible. Scientific revenue claims that with no effort on the part of the developers themselves, a game can increase its cash intake by 20 to 40% simply by knowing when to offer additional purchases and how much to charge individual players. The latter part is what scientific revenue proudly calls dynamic pricing, and it's not new.
Dynamic
Scientific
pricing.
revenue certainly isn't the only company doing it. Zynga, the closest thing mobile gaming has to Satan's foreskin, caused a minor uproar when it was caught offering the same content to different customers.
Somebody's about to get roasted. Tech_SSBM. Here's the thing. Listen. Companies want money. Papega. These are the minds of the people who are unable to grasp the idea that there is a difference between wanting money and engaging in unethical, consumer-unfriendly practices that diminish the entire industry and make the content that you and I consume every day worse. Not understanding that difference is papega. Not thinking that companies wanting money is bad. And don't leave, by the way, because you need to see this fucking video more than I do.
Yeah, bitch.
Prices, experimenting with the dynamic purchase model. In any case, players of mobile games might not realize that so-called machine learning is watching everything they do, getting to know them, learning their resistances and weaknesses like they're bloody orcs in Shadow of Mordor. To me, the sheer existence of scientific revenue, which incidentally has former PlayStation honcho Jack Tretton on the team, yeah, that's where he ended up, puts paid to the claim that the game industry merely considers microtransactions as optional. Oh, microtransactions are just there as an option. It's all about player choice, player freedom. You know, the usual bullshit excuses corporate mouthpieces trot out when they defend their decision to shovel microtransactions into their games. The fact there's a market
you can choose to pay $20.
for predatory microtransactions, ones designed to seek you out even if you want to ignore them, says that no, game companies aren't interested in simply offering players choices. They want to get what they've always wanted. All of your money, as much as it could possibly carry. And another crucial impression I get from this is that, yeah, for a lot of people, they can ignore loot boxes, microtransactions, all that stuff. And the current glorified gambling craze sweeping across the industry is predominantly geared towards exploiting the more easily exploitable. But with this sort of stuff, it's art, it's fine. For everybody. Winter is coming for you.
Well, if body painting is allowed, then paintings of bodies must also be allowed.
Oh yeah, it's just art, by the way. It's fine. I mean, it's just art.
Yeah, guys, everything's fine. Relax.
And companies have freely demonstrated
that means we can have a
they are
hentai
nowhere
stream.
near above increasingly desperate methods of beating you around the head until you surrender and hand over more money. In the same way Valve uses algorithms to sell you games based on your interests, games themselves seem interested in using algorithms to sell you more of, well, themselves based on everything they can find out about you. I reached out to Scientific Revenue personally to find out more, asking some pointed questions about the ethics, the implementation, and exploitative potential of its service. In a very interesting move, the company's response was to use Gama Sutra to publicly address and somewhat belittle my concerns before I ever had a chance to publish anything myself. CEO Bill Grosso lays out a picturesque description of dynamic pricing, comparing it to established instances of price flexibility, such as auctions, airline prices, and surge pricing, such as when Uber raises its fares during busy times, None of the comparisons are particularly
all those
apt,
are based
since
on
none
scarcity.
of them so subtly manipulate their customers, but Bill goes to great lengths to defend his platform, as you might expect, even going so far as to claim that dynamic pricing is far less likely to harm the game industry than attitudes like mine, which he presents as, and I quote, deliberately rejecting best practices from other industries in the name of an illogical and inconsistent purity, and continuing to lose money on the vast majority of games that are created, regardless of quality. After publishing the preemptively argumentative article, Bill Grosso sent it to me and asked if I had any other questions. I did find his piece a little unsatisfactory, dodging the ethics issue with a dismissive everybody does it so it's okay rhetoric, and using extreme examples of predatory pricing, such as overcharging for medical supplies in order to make itself look better. And honey, if you need to compare yourself to the pharmaceutical industry to look good, I don't know what to tell you. In any case, you can read the article
people
yourself
for drugs that need to save
and
their
I
life.
highly recommend reading the lengthy
At least we
comment
don't do that.
below, which does a good job highlighting how Grosso, I'm not entirely sure, glosses/glosses over the concept of taking advantage of customers, as well as the inadequacy of his comparisons with other industries. Despite initially friendly correspondence with Bill, the CEO became increasingly derisive and snarky the more he seemed to learn about me. He made it clear he'd been looking me up, bringing up the fact I recently published a podcast entitled Fart Porn Specialist to make some sort of point, and rather flippantly blew me off when I asked for more details, despite him contacting me after a long period of silence.
He's defensive because he knows he's wrong.
You know, offer more details himself. After telling me that his Gamasutra article answered everything adequately, I took it as the company's official response. Bill's write-up did address some of my queries, but I feel it ducked a number of them, including these questions that I had explicitly asked. With microtransactions already regularly emulating the psychological effects of gambling, what measures do you take to make sure scientific revenue is responsibly implemented, and what duty do you feel, if any, to the end users playing these games?
Oh, they didn't answer that one.
Are users of said games ever put off when they learn they may be buying something their fellow players paid less for?
Wow.
Is there not a risk of
What a
saturating
surprise.
the market to the point of breaking? With games ramping up new and more complex ways of generating revenue, and an overwhelming number of games offering minimal gameplay with large microtransactions, how much more can the industry take before it collapses? I also wanted to know
The
if
first one
scientific
wasn't even that
revenue
bad.
had moved beyond mobile games and was looking at, approached by, or even implemented in larger games for console and PC. But
Good
the
question.
increasingly cagey CEO seemed entirely uninterested in touching that one. According to
wonder
Scientific
why.
Revenue's website, though, it does at least work really well with Unity. Oh, it's a shame Digital Homicide never jumped on that when they had the chance. Oh well. While the Scientific
I don't know
Revenue
what that
boss
is.
claims that the death of the industry is far more likely to be the fault of people like me rather than organisations like his, I can personally say that I gave up on the mobile games market specifically because monetisation had gotten so overbearing, so oversaturated, so overly manipulative that I couldn't stand it anymore. I was a huge proponent of mobile gaming when it first rose to popularity, going so far as to defend it from quote-unquote hardcore gamers who continually called mobile games casual trash for trashy.
I think that's actually really good that he says that. Like, I totally fucking agree with this. Mobile games are not necessarily bad. And I said this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. The reason that people don't respect mobile games is because the developers of the mobile games don't respect the players. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with a mobile game.
You know what, dude? I think I just disagree. I think gamers just hate game developers. Like just flat out. I think
What do you mean?
I think gamers are just entitled, dude. Gamers are entitled and they think they're entitled to good games.
Well,
it's
that's
ridiculous.
the problem. And that's why we need these different articles and these websites to tell us that gamers are entitled, they don't deserve good games, and gamers are over.
Casuals, but you can only
Yeah,
see
fuck-
so many
fuck
pitifully
gamers.
cloying Clash of Clans rip-offs before you feel overwhelmed and underwhelmed at the same time. You can only play so many games that feature minimal or self-playing gameplay offset by constant harassment to spend more money before you close the App Store in fucking disgust. Cell phone gaming had a bright future once. A long time ago in the past.
What the fuck was
Mobile
that?
devs these days allegedly only care about the money to be made off the so-called whales and
Obviously.
dolphins.
I mean,
you know,
come
the
on.
big and mid-tier spenders. Hell, this show's own art director does game design on the side, and he's told me about his
Okay.
first-hand experience with mobile studios and how they'd email him to only talk about the money they plan to make. No word of game design or anything, just the end result.
They're
A
just
big,
looking for the
fat
money.
Ka-ching. By the time I downloaded an iOS
Wow.
Dynasty Warriors game, only to find out it played its fucking self and continually forced me into the marketplace with too many currencies to keep track of, I realized mobile gaming was
And this is another thing that they do. As you guys can see here, it doesn't say that it costs like $4 or $40 or anything like that. It costs an amount of coins. And that way the payers can pay money and then get the coins and then spend the coins on items. This allows players to have a psychological disconnect between the amount of money that they're spending and the items that they're getting. So it makes it easier for them to buy things, and that doesn't have the same connection directly to the amount of money that they're spending. That's why they have these secondary currencies. That's what it's all for.
boned for good. It's done.
Every company does
It'll
this.
keep making money off its whales and dolphins until the bubble eventually bursts, but abandon hope, ye who
Well, it's
enter
not Twitch
looking
bits
for
at all,
quality, for the state of mobile gaming today is in my professional opinion, fucking shit. Not that Cyrev, that's my call word for it, not that Cyrev would agree, of course. It's all just best practices, and any claim that games have been ruined by an oversaturation of in-app purchases is just apocalyptic rhetoric. Bill did a good job of painting me and those like me as overreacting doom singers. He's not the first person whose cage I've rattled to do it, and he sure as shit won't be the last. But I can only speak from experience. I, once an adamant defender of mobile games, no longer play them because they're shit.
I don't have it. I've
Except
never had mobile
Steppy
games.
Pants. You're still cool, Steppy Pants.
The fuck is that?
You don't use scientific revenue, do you, Steppy Pants? Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Unfortunately for Bill, who I'm sure is a nice enough bloke, everything scientific revenue says about itself makes my fucking skin crawl. The way it talks about players giving off pricing signals, the way it claims you can turn free users into paid ones, it drips with the kind of smarmy slime you could only find at a modern tech company.
Jesus
Companies like this
Christ.
are birthed by the corporate culture that describes humans as aquatic mammals in order to insultingly reference their spending habits. The corporate culture that can't stop using the word audience retention because anything else might not sound creepy and robotic enough. The corporate culture that brought us King. You know, the Candy Crush people. That completely wretched asshole of a business with a history spottier than Spotty from
Blizzard
Superted.
bought them, by the way.
Go read that
Yeah, Blizzard bought them.
post. You might even
Activision
find yourself
bought them.
agreeing with some of Scientific Revenue's arguments. Everybody does it, dynamic pricing is fine.
Everyone is
charging
doing it,
people
so it's
different
okay.
prices for the same game content is fair because not everybody has the
Drugs
same
are bad.
income. Different pricing isn't wrong if people are paying for it. Whether you agree or not, though, what has become indisputable is that monetization is not optional. Industry thralls can yell it till they're blue in the face, but they fucking ain't. It doesn't want to be optional. It never wanted to be optional.
Obviously.
It doesn't want to be ignored, and it sure as shit doesn't want a single one of you to get away with not paying the piper, regardless of whether or not you already paid an entrance fee in the first
This actually is
friggin'
depressing.
place. I couldn't find anywhere where Scientific Revenue says what games it's affected or even how many, but it proudly states that games using it have been downloaded over 100 million times.
Wow.
That's a lot of games collecting a lot of data
DLC
to learn how better
Absolutely.
to make you pay. And the moment
games with
this
day one
sort of
DLC?
shit definitively,
It's obvious.
provably
Come
makes
on.
its way to so-called AAA games. Any argument about so-called player choice and optional time-saving purchases goes right out the fucking window. Not only that, but can you just imagine EA, Activision, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers, and 2K getting in on this shit? It's gonna be an all-you-can-fuck buffet.
So?
The world of AAA games is sadly looking increasingly like a total fucking write-off. I mean, hell,
There it
EA
is.
just shit-can Visceral and scrapped their single-player Star Wars game in order to pursue a more gamers service model. And yeah, I heard that
Gamers
the Star Wars game
service.
Visceral was working on
Oh,
was
of course.
apparently a mess. Apparently. But that doesn't change the fact we're not getting a single-player Star
Luke
Wars game on
Skywalker?
its own
Oh,
at
boy.
all now. Because that shit
Oh,
just don't make
boy.
enough money anymore. Oh, it could make money. Lots of money. It just wouldn't make all of the money in the fucking world, so fuck it. The loot box craze that's taken gaming by storm in 2017 has turned too many otherwise quality games into glorified gambling simulators.
I can think
Gacha
of one.
games with shameless opportunities to render the gameplay itself meaningless in favor of just buying your way up the ladder. From Shadow of War to Star Wars Battlefront 2, even after EA toned it down due to backlash, games from major publishers are sinking into a slime pit that mobile games have been masturbating into for quite some time already. And companies like Scientific Revenue are ready and willing to make that decline all the more easy. Effortless, in fact, according to their sales pitch.
I think this is
could
because
be wrong
gaming is
with
more
my-
mainstream.
What was it Bill called it? My Mad Max tale?
Wait,
but
what?
I'll just say this. The mainstream game industry has become
mediocre.
And I've never felt more on the money than when corporate mouthpieces take time out of their day to undermine me.
That's
and
true.
with the amount of mouthpieces doing that lately, I'm starting to think they're really uncomfortable with me shining a flashlight in their insect nests. Now, let's all play a game I've invented in Shadow of War called Let's fuck with the orc merchant. Oh, you don't like that, do you? Oh, do you want me to buy it? No, I'll buy it. Just kidding. Yeah, no, we'll buy it. No.
Wait, does he actually get mad whenever you click away from the box?
That's what you get for representing everything I fucking hate. Go
What
on,
the
go on. No, fuck no. Come on. No cigar, friend.
What?
No sale at all.
This is almost like a parody of itself. How do you even do something like this?
Okay.
What?
Now, I know what some people will want to say to rebuke today's
Look at this
video.
outfit.
I can already see the posts
He looks like
on
a Batman
NeoGAF and
villain.
Reddit now. I mean, I can already see the posts on Reddit now talking about, well, it's just the free-to-play market, it's just the mobile market, it's nothing to worry about. You're making mountains out of molehills again, Jim. Well, let me just remind you that I am sort of the Cassandra of video games, okay? A lot of people tell me I'm chatting shit, and then it turns out that I wasn't really chatting much shit at all.
Cassandra?
Let me remind you that I was the first to say that Steam was in dire need of quality control, that I saw where that was going and accurately called it. And I remember the pushback from fans
He's telling
and
us
from
he's a
games
prophet.
media itself. Oh yeah, I remember the rebuttal articles from game journalists. Oh, Steam is in no need of quality control. But now it's practically on vogue to say it. Now it's popular to say it. I pushed back against the loot box trend as far back as Overwatch, but it was Blizzard! Mother's favourite Blizzard, so Jim,
How
you're
things
overreacting.
change.
I really don't see this as a problem. It's just cosmetic! Now look at the fucking state we're in, because as I've said, constantly, publishers want all of your money, not just a little bit, and if you give them an inch, they'll take the fucking yard. The country, the planet, the universe.
The bank account.
I was right. I called it. I warned you. You know, I'm so good at this shit, I called Visceral being shut down years ago. Not that I'm happy about being right there. That's what I'd put money on closing. It's got the hallmarks already. Its Dead Space series was awesome until EA started EAing it up, with Dead Space 3 restructured to be a hive of microtransactions and DLC.
Damn.
With Dead Space not being the cross-medium smash hit
How do
EA
you know?
really expected it to be, Visceral is looking
It's
like
what
a
he
classic
does.
studio with which its owner knows not what to do.
We should watch this
I
guy's
hope I'm
videos
wrong.
more
I like
often.
Visceral a lot.
I
But
think
if
so.
Visceral's not here in the
Damn.
next few years, I can't say I'll be surprised. All I'm saying is, lately, I've had to put up with a lot of so-called experts and a lot of pundits telling me that I'm clueless, that I'm deluded, that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I'm here to say that when Jim Sterling calls his shot, he very rarely misses. And another thing I'm here to say, and you know I'm gonna say it,
I like this guy.
is thank God for me. The Cassandra of video games.
I really like this. This guy's great.